Well, hello everybody. I'm Basil Gold and this is Jeff Green sitting right next to me. Jeff, you had a statement to make.
Did you know that all the fluoride toothpaste have to have a poison label warning and it should be kept out of the reach of children under 6 years of age?
And folks, did you know that fluoride has killed more Americans than all the military deaths in the history of America? Keep watching, coming right up.
Awareness, health, and environmental alternatives. Starring internationally acclaimed investigative reporter, compelled to help change people's lives. Two-time winner Crystal Awards. The man who tells it like it is. Basil Gold.
Well, folks, now let me tell you today what we're going to talk about. A number of things. Fluoride, chlorine, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, sclerosis. If you're suffering from any of these, it should not surprise you that you're getting it from your water. My guest today is Jeff from the Citizens for Safe Drinking Water, and you're the president of the company, and Jeff is going to tell us a little bit about fluoride. Later on in the show, I want to tell you an incident between Trader Joe's and certain products. And further on in the show, we're going to talk about this banking scams, and we're going to show you one or two statements on that. Jeff, what is the most important message we need to get across to the public today on fluoride?
Probably the most important thing is that fluoride is not the benign element that we thought it was, that we've all been told it was by TV and other scientists. That in essence what it is it's a very valuable product that's being used for all kinds of things in the public. It's used to etch glass, it's used to separate uranium isotopes, it's used to inhibit the fermentation of breweries, it's used as a insecticide, as a pesticide, it's used in fact a primary ingredient for Prozac, for ingredients such things as sarin gas.
Prozac, and Prozac is the #1 killer drug. Listen folks, that's nothing. If you're on Prozac, get off Prozac. There are natural things like St. John's wort. That's not a joke. That's a natural thing, and it does the same job with no side effects.
Well, and the other part about it, obviously, is it actually causes adverse effects in humans. And we have not heard that story in the major media, obviously, but it causes hip fractures, higher incidence of hip fractures, higher incidence of dental fluorosis, which you have a picture of right over here. In this middle picture right here, here's a more...
Well, let's have a look at that.
There's a more severe case of dental fluorosis, and this is what happens when people are overexposed to fluoride. It causes genetic damage, it causes more cancers, it causes...
Can we have the camera back on, Jeff? Thank you.
Yeah, it basically what it does is it interferes with the body's ability to function. It's the most negatively charged element in the whole spectrum, and it's the kind of the bully. It gets to do what it wants to do. It
was a waste product, wasn't it? A total waste product, and they didn't know what to do with it. So they started saying, hey, I know what we can do. One, we can put it into the food chain, we can put it into everything, and get paid for it. We don't have to pay to throw it in the waste dumps because they won't let us throw it anywhere, so we'll put it in the chain.
Certainly, and now it's the fertilizer industry that's basically putting it in our chain right now. It's actually hydrofluosilicic acid, a real big long name, but it actually comes right straight from the scrubbers. And when it does come from the scrubbers, if it was not put in our water, it would actually have to be taken to the highest rated hazardous waste dump. It would cost about $1.40 a gallon to throw it away.
Wow! Now, if it is that hazardous, what does that tell us?
Well, and the problem to it is that we're getting it in all of our products right now. Once it's put in the water supply, we are actually looking at products all the time that have fluoride in it. So even if you're avoiding the public water, you're still being exposed to fluoride.
And then on top of it, not only are we inundated with fluoride in our products, mothers are told by their doctors, here, put your child on fluoride. They're actually selling fluoride tablets that's killing your kids.
And they've never been approved by the FDA. They've never even had an application for effectiveness or safety. And I think probably the one thing we ought to tell everyone is that foods like Gerber baby foods and things like that have extremely high contents, up by what we call 3 parts per million, 3 times what we're fighting about trying to prevent being put in our water. There's that much in our baby food.
Wow, and in Coca-Cola too.
Coca-Cola, Minute Maid juices, Fruit Loops, anything that's processed with that water or has an opportunity to be able to be exposed to fluoride pesticides, because it is one of the most widely used pesticides.
And I guess the strangest thing is, Jeff, that people think that 1 part per million can't harm. Well, you know, my mother, my brother, everybody else has taken it. Well, no, they're not dying. Folks, they are dying. Who do you know over 35, 40 today that doesn't have some kind of problem? Some kind of problem they have it. Neurological, Alzheimer's, fluoride.
Yes.
Apart from other heavy metals causing Alzheimer's, MS, Parkinson's disease. These are caused by the low-level things that you think 1 part per million can kill. Let me tell you very fast, 1 part per million. Take a drum, 1 gallon drum of resin that you repair a surfboard, the hole. You use this. It would be liquid for all its life. You add 1 part per million to it. In other words, you take an eyedropper, you drop 3 little drops of a catalyst into this drum that would have been liquid for all its life, like you think you would have been well for all your life. And you shake it up. 3 drops is less than 1 part per million in a whole gallon. You shake it up, and an hour later, it's a hard, solid rock. It's never going to change. It's changed the entire body. 1 part per million can change your entire life. You've got to get it out of your life. You've got to avoid fluoride, and you've got to avoid chlorine. Now, chlorine, in case you didn't know it, the Natural Resources Defense Council said, we now believe that 2/3 of all human diseases is caused by the low-level toxins in our water. What is a low level? Well, let's go for chlorine. For a swimming pool, it should be 1.5 to 2.2. Your water in your home, every one of you that are watching me right now, go and test your water. It's a very simple test, a little tube of OTO, cost $1. And you will find you've got 12 parts per million, between 8 and 12, depending on what day you test it, when they dumped or when they didn't dump. 1 part per million makes a big difference, folks. You've got to learn these things. Now, the fluoride, the Citizens for Safe Federal Drinking have asked the general public to sign petitions against the government, especially in California, forcing fluoride on us.
Well, the United States Public Health Service for the last 50 years has been spending the public's money in order to try to shove this literally down our throat. The state of California legislated in 1995 that we all had to be drinking fluoridated water when it's been 20 years since they've begun any new fluoridation in California.
And you know, a number of years ago, I wrote to the White House and to the President, and Mr. Gore, who did something on water. He was in one of the forefronts of one of the books. And here's a letter that I got from the President. It came back to me. Which camera is best for that one there, huh? Maybe you can come in close on it, see if I can read it to you. Part of the letter, and I've had a number of these letters from the President because of my ongoing efforts to try and eliminate chlorine and fluoride, which incidentally is banned in the rest of the world. The British and the French did not swim in the last Olympics. Did they tell us on the evening news? No. Why? Because we'd ask, why didn't they swim? The answer is they refused to swim in chlorine and fluoride. They said it's banned by the World Health Organization. How can you use it in America? The President wrote to me, he says, Dear Basil, thank you for sharing your concerns about the administration water. He says, my administration has expanded right-to-know programs, like this one here. It's a right to know. You could not get this on CBS or NBC or ABC. Thank God we have these studios and public access to tell you the truths about things. He further goes on to say, we have acted to reduce air pollution from factories and dioxin emissions from incinerators, and we have phased out dozens of hazardous pesticides. So they phased it out because they realized the pressure was too much, so they took it away. We got to put the pressure on with chlorine. Building on these accomplishments, excuse me, sorry, he finishes off with saying, environmental protection for the health and safety of all Americans is one of my administration's highest priorities. I am confident that our initiatives will help with our nation meet the many environmental challenges we face. Together, he's referring to me, we can ensure that the world will leave to future generations holds the same promise and opportunity as the one we inherited. He also mentions about the safe federal drinking. Building on these accomplishments, I signed the Safe Drinking Water Act to ensure clean, healthy water for all Americans. This letter came to me a number of years ago. What has happened? Nothing much has happened.
Well, even the Union of EPA Scientists, this is a union that represents all the toxicologists, biologists, all the chemists, even the statistician and engineers and attorneys at EPA headquarters in Washington, D.C., have unanimously sponsored our initiative to stop fluoridation.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, folks, I'm going to open up the telephone lines. If you have comments to make about how your bank is treating you, charges, overdrafts, all these things, you have anything to say about fluoride and how you feel about it, you're welcome to call. I'll open the line in a few minutes' time. Keep watching, the number will appear. Not just this moment, but it will appear, and we will take your calls.
Well, what we're really concerned about, obviously, is that this is something that the people should be stopping on their own. There's always going to be someone dumping something in our water. And until such time as the individual person takes it upon themselves to say, I'm not going to take this, that I want water. I don't want Kool-Aid or vitamin E or anything else in my water. I want fresh water. That we're going to continue to look at this problem.
Yeah, that's why I wore the shirt today. What does it say? This is a glass of water. Shut the hell up, glass of water. Because there ain't no such thing as a pure glass of water in this country. Please, folks, never drink tap water. Do not even bathe in tap water. I'm going to take some water and show you what's inside water. Just pure, plain water from the tap. If my cameraman will be so kind as to give me some tap water, take your time, get me a glass of tap water, and I'm going to show you what is inside tap water. It looks clean and clear, but it's a long shot from being clean and clear. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in here. It's just a negative and a positive, 2 lobes, and what it will do, it's a TDS machine, totally dissolved solids. So in water, all the solids, all the bad contaminants and toxins, and some of the good stuff, is all totally dissolved. So you can see it. Thank you. Oh my God, look at the chlorine. You can see the chlorine in there just from the tap. Okay, but basically that's clean, clear water, right? Can the cameraman pull in a little tighter on that? And you'll see it's just plain, clean, clear water. And this is the water you see every day and you think it's fine. I'm going to show you what's really in the water. Jeff, you would put that down for me, please? So we'll put that there. Now I'll take a glass of purified water. And this is water I brought from home. And it is purified. It's reverse osmosis water, if anybody is interested in knowing. And what I have done, I have added some calcium, coral calcium, the 2 little tea bags. I've taken all the contaminants and toxins out. Unfortunately, I also took all the minerals and trace minerals out as well. There's no way of doing the one without the other. But I've replaced it. I'm not drinking water that has no mineral content, so I've replaced it with this coral calcium from Okinawa. It gives me good water. So there we have, on the right-hand side, we have good water. It doesn't matter. You'll see the difference. And here we have tap water. Jeff, if you can screw the other one on for me there, please.
Okay.
I think it goes anti-clockwise.
Okay.
Now, you got to screw it on tight there, Jeff.
Okay.
There you go, nice and tight. And then we'll plug that in, and 3-4 minutes, what will happen here, these totally dissolved solids that you can't see are going to be coagulated. The reverse polarity here is going to pull the dirt together so that you can see how much dirt is in the water. So, have you switched it on, Jeff, with a little red light on? I know I dropped it as we came in. Is a little red light on? Yes. Yes, it's on. All right, we'll come back to that. You can see it on the table, folks, when the camera's on a long shot. We're not going to touch it or interfere with it. It's just water, and all we're doing is pulling it together so that you can see what's in water. You are going to be amazed. You can literally pick it up with your fingers. Mm-hmm. Yes. It's going to blow your mind.
Well, one of the things we've had to look at with not only fluoride but chlorine and the rest, as you mentioned, with very small amounts, one of the most recent studies showed that low amounts of fluoride combined with aluminum, what ends up happening is it actually causes damage to the brain, very much like Alzheimer's and kidney damage.
Absolutely.
So we're not talking about huge doses, even in proportion to the toxins we're talking about. Like
1 part per million goes from your teeth, the mercury in your teeth, and you've got Alzheimer's, you don't know why. Look at your teeth first. I believe we have our first caller. Is the line in the phone? Okay, we have the caller right here, and I will press, what do I press? This one here? Hi, caller number 1, hello.